Hello all, and welcome to my channel. Please leave any comments and such. I do read my comments. Today I'm going to be talking about um, Web3, or also known as Web 3.0. So now, what is Web3 and what's Web3 built on? Web3 is the next generation of the internet. It's a decentralized app, or decentralized network, sorry, that allows for the centralization of decentralized applications, or DApps for short, as you see here. It's the exchange of values without the need for intermediaries. Web3 is built on blockchain technology, which is a decentralized, distributed ledger that records transactions in a secure and transparent manner. This means that all transactions on the network are recorded on a public ledger and can be viewed by anyone. I talked about a blockchain technology in a prior video to this. If you want to see that, it's a brief discussion about that. Uh, so, as I mentioned, basically transactions are recorded on that public ledger, which is viewable by anyone. Uh, these transactions, of course, or the ledger with blockchain is quote unquote anonymous, but in reality, it's not anonymous. I mean, if you look hard enough and work for it, well, yeah, look hard enough, you can find out who the owner of that transaction belongs to, as well as the wallet. Uh, One of the key features of Web3 is basically the use of smart contracts. Now, smart contracts are self executing contracts with the terms of the agreement written directly into code. This allows for the automation of processes and the removal of intermediaries, making the transactions faster and more efficient. Um, Another more important aspect of Web3 is the use of decentralized storage solutions, such as IPFS, which is Interplanetary File System. This allows for the creation of decentralized internets where data is stored in a distributed network or computers rather than a decentralized server controlled by large corporations. What does enable in this case? So Web3 enables the creation of a decentralized autonomous organization, or DAO for short, which are organizations that operate on a blockchain and are governed by its users. It represents a shift towards a more decentralized and equitable internet where power is distributed among its users rather than being concentrated in the hands of a few large corporations. Now, you might ask, why is Web3 so, or yeah, Web3 so important, or Web 3.0 so important? Well, one, decentralization. Web3 is a decentralized network, which means that it is not controlled by any single entity or organization. This allows for greater autonomy and freedom for users, as well as increased security and resilience against potential attacks or failures. Number two, trustless interactions. Web3 allows for trustless interactions between parties, thanks to the use of blockchain technology and smart contracts. This means that transactions can be executed automatically and transparently without the need for intermediaries. It kind of reduces the risk for fraud and increases the efficiency at the same time too. And of course, there's transparency. Web3 is built on, of course, on a public ledger, as I mentioned, which means that all transactions that are recorded can be viewed by anyone in the public. Meaning, you don't have to have a wallet, but the transactions are there on a full public ledger. You can view it at that point. This level of transparency can help increase the accountability and trust into the system itself as well too. Now, the fourth one, which is what I think is a little bit important one as well too, is tokenization. Web3 allows for the creation of digital tokens, which can be used as a means of exchange, a store of value, basically, as a way to raise funds for projects. Think of like ICOs or your own sort of crypto tokens, like XRP, or in this case, you've heard of Luna, Terra Luna, and such, or Shiba Inu, Dogecoin, and such. Those, though they are not really raised funds for the project, but in this situation, these tokens themselves, like, or you consider ICOs, are another. This has the potential to open up new ways of financing, investing in projects and companies. And of course, the fifth one, which I've already talked about, is DAOs, where it enables the creation of decentralized, a DAO, which are organizations that operate on a blockchain, and of course, it's governed by its users. And this has the potential, of course, to change how organizations are structured and how they operate. DAOs are pretty much becoming synonymous with Web3 right now, and you will be seeing a lot more DAOs coming out as a result of this, and you might see quite a large number of them as we speak right now. Now, Web3 has the potential to disrupt. What's the potential of Web3? Well, one of them is it can disrupt traditional models of business, such as in finance and governance, by enabling a more decentralized and equitable distribution of power. Sorry. Meaning basically like there's no one true centralized aspect of governing the actual chain itself. Think about it this way. It's example, Facebook is a classic example. Think about Facebook in this aspect where Facebook themselves still govern it. They control it basically. Same thing with YouTube, with Google. Google controls YouTube, so they control the content in this situation. Same thing as like with Twitter. They control that. It's still a centralized aspect. They're all still central basically to that perspective. Now, if let's say, like there's a YouTube for Web3 version of YouTube, which there are coming, there are a few out there right now, as well as for Facebook or Twitter for that matter. It's not all central. It's decentralized, meaning that no one person can actually control it. Think of in this case like Twitter. You've heard of Mastodon. You're hearing a lot of things about Mastodon. That's a decentralized aspect as well too. You've also heard of as another DAO with not Elon Musk, sorry, Jack Dorsey, and another. I'm kind of taking a quick look at it, basically, where he's basically creating another sort of Twitter, but on the blockchain itself, basically, meaning it's not owned by anyone. It's decentralized, so you yourself own that data. It's a company called Blue Sky, of course, and it's one of those things where it's to create sort of an open Twitter protocol. Now you might be wondering, oops. And as I mentioned, I was enabling more power and such, and like it's the distribution of that power across every individual at that point versus not having one central company controlling that power. Now, what are the next? You might be asking, what are the next stages of Web3? One of the key areas of focus for Web3 is scalability, which refers to the ability of the network to handle a large number of transactions. There are a number of projects and protocols currently being developed to address this issue, such as sharding and off-chain scaling solutions. I can get more into detail about that if you want me to. Just please leave a comment. I could talk about that a little bit. Another area is basically a focus is interoperability, which refers to the ability for different blockchain networks to communicate and work together. This will be crucial for the mainstream adoption of Web3 and the creation of a truly decentralized internet. Think about it this way: it's like you'll have more aspects of different blockchains and different DAOs coming out as well. It's a matter of each one connecting to each other and working together at that point. And of course, finally, privacy, which is a key area of focus. While blockchain technology is inherently transparent, there are also efforts to create a more private and anonymous solution, such as a zero-knowledge proof system. Now, a zero-knowledge proof system is something that's going to take a bit to come out there. I mean, the fact that you have blockchain in place and you can still, even though it's transparent and it's public, it's one of those things where even though it's supposed to be anonymous in ways, it's still not truly anonymous, because the fact is, as you've been seeing in the news, government, specifically, law enforcement and such, with the amount of effort, can locate who owns the ledger as well as the transactions network at that point. By doing this in a more anonymous, in more of a zero knowledge proof system, it tries to again de-anonymize you, even still keeping the transaction in place in the ledger. I can get more into detail about this zero knowledge proof system, but it's a work in progress, and there's a really good paper about it, which I wish I can give you the link for, but I can't locate it right now, unfortunately. But it's not that hard to locate it. Just Google it or do an online search for a zero knowledge proof system. But I'll probably create another video for zero knowledge proof system down the line. Now, in conclusion, overall, basically, Web3 is an exciting and, of course, rapidly evolving field that has the potential to bring about significant changes to the internet and the way we interact with technology. It's something that I would say that it's definitely disruptive, and something where more of a case where like now you will think of we're thinking of the Web 2.0, like, a lot of this as being more of the content world, or specifically like the TikToks, YouTube Shorts, and such, but it's still owned. That data is still owned. The social media aspects are still owned. The content creators don't own that content themselves. They're posting it up on there, and it's not owned by them. Now think about the Web 3.0, where you create the content, you put it out there, you still own that content, and it's not centralized. So like, thinking about it this way, let's say you tweet out something, instead of tweeting out and it's Twitter having it, it's more of you tweet it out and it's on multiple servers, meaning no one entity controls that tweet. You're the only one that owns that tweet, unless you want to give it off to someone else through a ledger. Same thing with the video and such, or some social videos, some social commenting, whatever it may be. Think about it that way. That's pretty much it for me as a brief discussion with Web3 or Web 3.0, depending on how you want to call it. Please let me know. Please leave any feedback or any comments or any questions you have, and I will try to answer them to the best of my ability. Please also subscribe. The more subscribers, the better. Of course, and I wouldn't do this without you subscribing, of course. And also, again, as I mentioned, please leave your comments. And if I do, see any questions there and I get notified of it, I will try to answer them to the best of my abilities. If you wanted me to discuss in detail a little bit more about Web 3.0 or any other content or subject matters within this, I will, try to answer them. I will create them based on comments and requests, basically. But with that, I'll leave it at that. Unfiltered, unedited, and unrehearsed. Until next time.